All right, guys, welcome back to Theoretically Practical. We're here with the old Dynahoe. We're gonna put the head back on today. I know this isn't as ideal as it should be, but honestly, if it runs at all, I will probably be back in to replace this cylinder, but I also want to make sure everything else works. So we are absolutely half-assing some stuff we should whole-ass, but it's on purpose anyways. So one thing to really point out, if you're ever taking the head off one of these, the little bolts on the front of the housing right here and on the rear, they absolutely stick in there about 1/4 of an inch. So you absolutely have to back those out to get the thing apart. It's not a big deal. Here, I'll bring the thing over. So these bolts here would be sticking out like that otherwise. So anyways, that's dealt with. I'm gonna go into time-lapse mode because you want to see this run, I want to see this run, everyone wants to see this run. Okay, so we got the head back on. The other thing, the injectors are out. You know, nothing's really attached. We're gonna try to spin her over. Just as she sits, I don't think there's anything that can be a problem. Well, we'll find out pretty quick, I suppose. All right. Now let us see what happens. What do we got for a key? Oh, it scared me by working. Get your hands clear?
Yeah.
Oh, that does have a nice flow of fuel around. That means the whole system has fuel in it and it flows. That's super good. That means that like bleeding this is not going to be a misery. You know what? Let's just leave it for today. We'll get that thing charged. I'll come back. We'll come back tomorrow. I'll get a big 20 amp push start button.
Just put the last bolt in too and put the water jacket on.
Yeah, and then actually try to start it. But hey, it turns over. Cool. All right, well, we're back here again with the Dynahoe. Today, I put the battery in properly, mostly because this battery cable is a lot stouter than the jumper cables I was using yesterday. Didn't want to turn over, but this is something to look for. This ground strap is pretty crusty and rusty, and it's just bolted onto paint. You'll never get a good connection that way. So always check stuff like that, because I'm going to take a wire wheel, hit that, then sand it, and then bolt it all back together again. It should be just fine, but that's the kind of thing that just absolutely steals your power. So, well, it increases resistance, which decreases voltage and amperage and effectively, and all sorts of other stuff. So anyhow. All right, so before I bolt that back on, this is what it should look like. And if you look down in there, that one's also much, much cleaner. I'd like to get it cleaner than that, but it's a pain in the ass to sand, and that's going to be significantly better. I'll probably also go down to the ground strap from the starter motor to the frame and do the same thing, because I bet it's in similar condition. So I did sand the insides of these battery clamps when I attached them. This one's soldered on, so I'm not too concerned about it, though. Yeah, it looks all right. Well, we'll see. Now that it's cleaned up, watch this. Oh wow, that's a lot of fuel coming out of the pump. So, all right, we're gonna pause it for here. I'm gonna reattach some fuel stuff. I'm a lot happier about the condition of how fast it's spinning it over now, though. All right, guys, we're gonna bleed out the lines, and then hopefully this will just start right up, because it's fine. It's fine. So Vice Grip Garage has the Lone Wolf 9000. I have the Touch This wire to the battery terminal. It's the same, but somehow just a little bit worse. There's a lot of, oh, it's got to pump that whole filter full of diesel because it was empty. I think we need your jumper pack though. Somebody's watching this right now going, you dummy, you should do this, this, and this. And yeah, probably should. That thing popped. Oh wow, we are cooking that wire. We'll just wait a few minutes and let her sit. You can also see there's oil starting to come up in between here, so everything's starting to oil all right. All right, we got one mint condition 1976 can of starting fluid, but there's still something in it. And we're gonna give her a little, just because our battery is not gonna be able to prime this. Don't start it while I'm standing on the engine. Not a phrase I thought I would have to say today. All right, go for it. We got fuel. Beautiful. Give me the fuel lines. We'll plug them up and we'll get her going. This is legitimately our first real try. I'm using a little of the good stuff. I gotta remember which ways. Okay, that's dead, full throttle. Go for it. Do it. Attaboy. Well, we're back at it today with the Dynahoe. I'm a bad YouTuber. Came over here the other day without my camera. Did some stuff to it. Mainly just put the coolant log back on. I don't know if that's called a coolant log, but that's what I'm calling it. And we ran it a little. And we found out, pretty much as we suspected, that cylinder number 3 is... I think they call it wet stacking. It's not firing. We didn't run it long enough for it to warm up really well either. So, you know, there is that. But I think cylinder number 3 is going to need a new liner at some point. But it's fine for right now. Really, the goal is to get it out of here. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do today right now is I'm going to put the exhaust manifold back on, and as you can see, I did this beautiful factory repair here. This chunk is actually a piece of a 52 Buick exhaust manifold. Was not a piece of a good exhaust manifold. I had saved some pieces when I was working on my 52 Buick, and it was a chunk of cast iron that I had that was, you know, roughly the same shape. This whole area here is 52 Buick. I wish I had something else actually, because the cast iron for the Detroit manifold welded really well with the braze. I just brazed it, and it did not want to stick to the 52 Buick material for whatever reason. I got it well enough, and I whacked it pretty good with a hammer once to see if it would pop off, and it didn't. So I'm calling it good enough, and I'm going to be real ginger when I tighten it down. I have a start button. We're gonna wire that up, and we're also gonna wire up the big red line. There is the engine kill line from inside the cab. We should have hooked that up first, but you know how excitement gets. So we're gonna put those on. We're gonna start it up again. I'll even connect up the air intake as well, because I don't think we need to put a board over that anymore. And then we'll go over, you know, what appears to be working and what's not. And we'll take a look at it and see if we can't figure out why it's not working and what we can do to fix it. All right, well, we got the exhaust back on. You probably can't see it, but down here, it definitely cracked some of the bronze, but it's better than a big gaping hole. It's on well. I'm happy with that. We can't run as long as I hope to because this coolant line from the air pump started leaking, and I touched it and it fell apart, and then all my coolant went out. I caught it in a bucket, but yeah. So I will start it to see how loud it is. I also can't start it from inside the cab for reasons I'll explain in a minute. But I'll start it up and we'll see how loud it is with an exhaust on, or at least 70% of an exhaust. I gotta admit, I planned on doing everything I told you guys in the beginning, but man, finding that hose just dripping a little bit and touching it and having it blow up on me, it just, man, it takes the wind out of your sails some days. Well, that started up nice. It always does. It's definitely leaking. I was kind of wondering if it would leak out of here. Oh, just kicked a socket on the ground. Well, that's gone forever. Oh, it leaks all out of here, like bad. But it is a lot quieter, so, and it's back on. I'm not going to touch it anymore for now. Well, let's take you in the cab and show you kind of what's going on. So basically, right now, when I start this up, I wish I could show you guys, but it's just not. I don't have 18 hands, and my buddy ain't here today. So power steering works. With this thing stopped, with everything, all the weight on it, I could turn it back and forth with one finger. It just zips around. Also, if this was running, we couldn't have this conversation. The stabilizers work, but none of the other controls work. And after looking exhaustively, I found out one in the manual, there are 2 circuits for the hydraulic control, and one of the circuits is pilot operated, or, well, there's more than 2 circuits, but in any case, the steering and the stabilizers are on a different setup than everything else. There's actually 3, the hydraulic pump has 3 stages in it, and I'll show you in just a minute. But these controls are pilot operated controls, which I thought they were direct operated, but you can see down in there, the small hose that goes to the back of the valve right there and there, that's for pilot operated controls. Well, looking through the manual, you actually find out that the pilot operated controls run from the pilot control pump. So that is that guy right there. And what you can't see down below is that it has been pissing out fluid forever. So I think that's what's bad. I'm going to try to disconnect it today and pull it out. I wanted to do a little more troubleshooting first, but it is what it is. So anyways, this is the main hydraulic pump here though. And that's one of the outlets. That's another one. So you can see there's 1 and a space and 1 and a space and 1. So there's actually 3 hydraulic pumps in one. And that makes all the sense in the world now. I was trying to work this out because there's this big line here that I thought was the intake for that. I don't think it is anymore. I think this is the input, this is the output, and this is the pressure relief line. So in any case, it's got to come off. I think the seals are blown out of it. Hopefully that's all it is. So if the seals are bad and the pump is marginal, it won't pull a prime and it won't prime itself. One thing I can do though is if I put new seals in it, which I almost guarantee I can't get the pump, but the seals should be, at least the most important seals, should be pretty generic. So I should be able to pick them up from like McMaster Car or something is my plan. And then what I'll do is if the pump seems marginal, and even if it doesn't, I'll pack it with grease. and that'll help it pull a suction on its own until it gets oil up to it. So that'll help it prime itself. It's not like the right way to do it for long-term usage, but again, we're still kind of in get it the heck out of here mode, and then maybe we can dig into it a little deeper. I'm also hoping that maybe it's a standard size that I can just buy off the shelf. That would be really nice. So yeah, it's also handily accessible all the way down there. Yeah, but as they say, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. So obviously the hydraulics work and they push it up pretty good. The whole point of this was I wanted to see if the rear axle was disconnected for some reason. And this wheel's spinning, the center of the differential's spinning. I don't hear any bad noises. I've tried putting it in gear and it lurches a little bit. It's hard to film it lurching a little, and I can't do more than that till it's moving, till it's got the implements up. But let's see if this tire's, yeah, so I don't know why they disconnected the rear end. It seems to be, it's not, at least there's nothing catastrophically wrong with it. So I may connect that while I'm here. It's good to see it just lift it right off the ground for sure. I might start it up again for a few minutes because it's got a little bit of coolant in it, and just see, because one thing is that this tank, the hydraulic tank, pressurizes itself over time, and I didn't have the lid on, and that being pressurized would help prime that pump that I think is bad. Let's also, while I'm over here, let's go underneath the side of the engine in this lovely area. And if you look at this side of the transmission, there's just so much oil down it, and that's would be from that. I also noticed that on both sides of this, there's only 2 bolts holding that on, which I think is important. So I'll probably get some more bolts for that. This is the coolant line that went bad. It went real bad. The problem is that it uses JIC connections at the end, and I don't know exactly how long it is, and the end that broke off is in that hole there. So I'm thinking, and it's a stupid thought probably, but I'm thinking I'll get a hose that can slip over this diameter, so I can slip it over the fitting on the end and get a hose. I could sneak a hose clamp in there and get it from the outside and hose clamp it to the top. Again, I want to take it all apart, but to get to that, I'd have to take the fuel pump off. Like, there's just a whole litany of things that need to come off to even have a chance at getting on that. So I'm not going to do it just yet. I think we've now found out why this machine has been sat for so long, and I think it's because of that pump that's bad. Because imagine if you're driving this machine along, it's moving, and all of a sudden the hydraulics just stop. You still have the stabilizers, but maybe you don't realize that. You still have power steering, but that's also not necessarily obvious. But you don't have anything else. That would give a reason. I'm just gonna pop that down because it's too heavy for me to move. Why you might take that off to see if you can get at the bottom of something, I guess. I really don't know. I don't know why you would disconnect that. But all the parts are right there in a little pile on the ground. So actually I'll probably grab the bearings with me today, because I'm gonna take them home and clean them out and all that good stuff. So what a lovely little mess down here. Put all the bolts in there for now. So yeah, I'm gonna bring these home, clean them up, repack them, bring them back, bolt them on. I don't know, they don't look bad. I mean, they look like maybe a needle's missing, but at 2 miles an hour, that's not the end of the world. So, all right. So start up one more time, let it just, you know, percolate for a minute and just see if that brings that pump back around. It won't. Well, wish me luck. If anything starts moving, I'll start filming, but I don't expect it to. And I was gonna pull that pump out today, and I'm just not sure it's gonna happen. I'm trying to work up the energy though, but I just want it out. I don't want to actually do it. Oh, there's another lovely little friend. God, there are so many ticks in this field. It is, I know people are gonna say, well, wear long pants. I hate, no, it's too sweaty. I'll just spray myself down with DEET the way nature intended, right? I have no idea what that is, but it's big. Well, let's take a look down there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little drippy line under there. I'm gonna, I don't know, I can't actually get it, but you can see it dripping, and actually the drip gets pretty steady once the pump's running. So, I don't know. Let me get some other tools. Well, now that I've kind of proved that the pump works at least a little bit, I tried bleeding it at the controls as well, and I just get like a trickle of flow, but not good flow. I mean, this is what the hydraulic fluid looks like. I drained as much water as I could. I put 10 gallons of fresh stuff. I might let it sit a few days, drain off another 5 or 10 gallons and add 5 or 10 gallons. It's like $1,000 to replace all the fluid in this. So, yeah, it's not great for it, but it's not gonna kill it either. The one thing is though, is that this is the pickup and filter for the main, and this is working, more or less. I don't know why there's epoxy all over it, but I'm sure that's a different nightmare for a different day. But this is the pickup for that secondary pump. And I jammed my hand way down into the oil and found out there's a strainer on the bottom of this. And to get at that strainer, you gotta take this off, then take this fitting off, then pull the whole thing out. And I wonder just how bad that strainer is. It could just be clogged. I am not that lucky, but I'm gonna try. So I'll set you guys up here, see if I even have a good enough angle to actually get it off. I apologize for using a pipe wrench on these fittings, but it's what I got. Let's see. The chunks of metal let you know it's good. Okay. I'll pour it right in front of the camera so you guys can see. Well, that went right through. I'm gonna put that back in, hopefully. Think of the next problem it could be. Well, as it turns out, I need a bigger wrench to get the line off, to get the pump off. I've decided to remove the pilot pump. I think that's weak, if nothing else. There's just not a lot of flow coming out of it like I'd expect. It has to be that, because all of the like if one of the valves was plugged or something like that, I'd suspect the valve, but all of them are plugged. I also noticed that if you look at that, you can see a line right there, and I think this one moved just a little bit. I suspect that that will do it, but I need to get a set of big boy wrenches, which I've never needed anything bigger than a 1-inch wrench realistically, so I need like a 1 to 2 inch wrench set English. It's gonna be from Harbor Freight because, man, I can't afford anybody else. Harbor Freight's expensive, but this machine has a name. It's written on the side of it. And I've been waiting for the time to show it off, but It's Deputy Dog. And there's this lovely drawing right here that to me looks like an elephant's butt. Like there's the ears, the head, the butt. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Deputy Dog. I think that's good. The other side actually has some writing on it. It has a picture of, I think, the Roadrunner's head, and it says Roadrunner. But I think Deputy Dog's a better name. So hopefully I'll come back later this week with the right size wrenches and a piece of hose that I can at least temporarily repair the coolant system with. Whew. It's never easy. Any of these videos you see where somebody just pops out in the field, starts it up and drives away, man, they knew exactly the condition of the piece of equipment they're working on, or they got very lucky, because there's always a reason it got parked. There's always a reason. Nobody parks machinery that just runs. Of course, I actually have an idea on what our next project's going to be, and supposedly it was parked running. We'll see about that. But that's keeps getting further and further down the line, I think. So hopefully I'll be able to get this coolant line sort of patched together enough to do some more testing with it, and run this for a little bit longer, and get that pump off. I hope it's that. I kind of hope it's that pump. I can't think of what else it could be. I mean, the other hydraulics work. It goes into gear, it lurches. The rear end is pretty good. It actually felt pretty tight, to be fair. So I got good news and not so good news. But so I'll come back with the right wrenches later this week, and yeah, we'll see you then.